Welcome to the Stoppage Time edition of the Pitch to Pro podcast. This is a highlight reel of some of the best moments from the show so far, and every other week we will be bringing you a special 5 to 7 minute segment featuring the best stories, tales, and moments of the podcast. In 2025, you've got the FIFA Club World Cup. So just like there's a World Cup for countries, for nations, and national teams, you also have a Club World Cup. So think of the biggest clubs in the world: Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, and others. You have clubs, the best clubs from individual regions, from all those 6 different associations from around the world that I talked about. Those guys are coming to the United States to compete in a tournament called the FIFA Club World Cup, which is coming in 2025. So more to come there on venues and all that kind of thing, but I'm sure that Dallas will be a venue, if not KC as well. And then we also have the coup de grace, the men's FIFA World Cup in 2026, coming right here to the US. KC will be a stadium, and it was just announced that Dallas is or at least it's been leaked and believed to be correct. So I'll caveat that, but I'm pretty positive that Dallas AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, is going to get the final for the 2026 Men's World Cup. So that's just 5 hours away. Absolutely incredible opportunity to be so close and to be able to host such an event. So, and then on top of that, after the Men's World Cup, we have the potential, we're in the running to host the 2027 Women's World Cup, or if not that one, the 2031, Women's World Cup as well. So we have bids in both, but we're pushing hard for 27. That's just this incredible slate of massive marquee tournaments. And it's a great time to be a soccer fan in the U.S. or even become a soccer fan in the U.S. and kind of get drawn in there. So let's come back and kind of focus in on the U.S. for a bit. We talked a little bit about the global governing bodies and how that operates and works and what falls underneath. But now let's get into kind of the U.S. and talk about the U.S. soccer landscape. So again, you have USSF, United States Soccer Federation, sitting on top of soccer in the United States. They kind of set the standards and regulations again for the U.S. soccer pyramid. So you keep hearing the term, or maybe this is a new term for you, but it's a very common one all over the world, and it's called the soccer pyramid. And that's often how professional soccer is stood up all over the world. And at the very, very top, you've got a league or leagues, depending on the situation in the country. But in our case, it's one league for each men's and women's soccer. So at the very, very tippy top, you've got Division 1, what we'll call Division 1. You've got Division 2, and you got Division 3. We have 3 different divisions and tiers, if you will, on that pyramid that equate to professional soccer in the United States. And professional soccer just means that a player can live and be successful, earn a living wage on their kind of compensation package from the team. So in the United States, the soccer pyramid has 3 different tiers or divisions. And within those 3, there are a whole bunch of different KPIs and different metrics that the leagues have to hit to fall within those tiers and qualify for them. But the 2 that are the most common and easiest to understand are stadium capacity and population size. So on Division 1, you've got Major League Soccer on the men's side. Be qualified to be, if you're a new team, you want to go into MLS, you've got to have a population base in your market of about 1 million plus. And you've got to come in with a stadium, soccer-specific stadium with a capacity for roughly 20,000 people. That's Division 1. Division 2, you start getting into the USL ecosystem. On the men's side, you have USL Championship, the highest level of soccer in the USL. That is where our club will play. And the minimum stadium size there is 5,000 and market size around 750,000 in terms of population base. Then you drop down into Division 3, which is USL League 1 or MLS Next Pro, and you're talking about markets of about 500,000 in that tier. On the women's side, you have the National Women's Soccer League, or NWSL. On the women's side, it's going to be interesting. You have the USL Super League starting in 2024. That is where we will play on the women's side. and they meet all the criteria for that U.S. Soccer lays out in terms of market size, stadium capacity, and those kinds of things to be called Tier 1. I don't believe at this point they've got their sanctioning yet, so they'll either be Division 2 or Division 1, but it's a planned Division 1 league as they're making their launch here in 2024. Super exciting, and again, that is where we will play. So we will play on the men's and women's side at the highest level of soccer within USL's ecosystem, and at least Division 2 and potentially Division 1 on the women's side, depending on how that shakes out. Underneath that, then you have some semi-pro leagues within the USL ecosystem that I'll talk about here too, which is USL League 2. So in Arkansas, we actually have a League 2 squad that does very well. The Little Rock Rangers, shout out to you guys. And they went really deep this past year, actually, in the playoffs in League 2, and they drew crowds at War Memorial of almost 8,000 multiple times, which is huge and incredible at that level. So congrats to those guys. You also have the USLW League, and that is on the women's side. In those two leagues, typically what happens and what you find is their seasons are from kind of like May through August, and that is typically you find a lot of college players that are looking to play at a high level out of their college season, and that's typically who makes up those rosters. So again, Division 1, 2, and 3 are professional. You have MLS Championship in the USL and League 1 in the USL to round out the men's side. And then on the women's side, you've got NWSL D1 and potentially USL Super League in either Division 1 or Division 2. Nothing today on the Division 3 side of the women's pyramid, but then you have USLW League in Division 4 semi-pro. So that is the U.S. Soccer Pyramid. Thank you for joining us for this Stoppage Time special of the Pitch to Pro podcast. If you've enjoyed the conversation, you can click watch the full episode here. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for a new episode of the Pitch to Pro podcast, the official podcast of Ozark United FC. Available on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you get your podcasts.